The ticker.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh. We are live.
Woo.
Welcome, guys. Welcome. I hope you can hear me fine. Make sure I got the microphone up here because y'all need to hear this topic tonight, boy. Let me tell you. So many people need to hear this topic tonight. But before we get into the topic, let me introduce my fine self. Because I've been feeling myself a little bit lately, guys. Let me just say.
As
Anyway,
you should.
thank you, girl. My name is Amber Nicole. I am a confidence coach, and I am here really just to teach all women to see themselves the same way God sees them. When it comes down to confidence, it really just comes down to seeing you the way God sees you. Because when you see yourself in that level of beauty and love and authenticity, when you see yourself in that way, confidence, self-love, all that just flows freely. So that's what I'm here for. And then I have my lovely co-host here, of course.
Hey y'all, I'm V Camille, the creativepreneur. I'm just achieving my dreams one day at a time, and it is just the beginning of the journey. So buckle up and let's ride.
Hey. All right. All right. Let's get into the topic for the day. If you guys see, the topic for today is how to fight for love. And I don't know if we should have talked about this on Valentine's Day or before Valentine's Day or whatever the case may be. However, love is important any day of the week, any day of the year. It doesn't matter if it's Valentine's or not Valentine's Day, right?
Right.
And so tonight we're really going to discuss some tips on how to fight for love. And this could be either whether if you're out of the relationship, maybe if you're a man and you done messed up a whole bunch of times with your woman and she like, you done too much. And I'm not saying that everything I'm saying is going to work because it's all dependent on that specific woman, right? Or that specific man. But I'm just saying we're going to give you some tips to try if you still want it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
We're gonna
right.
help you out there tonight how to fight for love because I am such I love love, right? I'm not obsessed with it though. There was a time when I used to be obsessed over love, as if I don't have it from somebody, I'm not valuable. If I don't have it, I gotta have love. It wasn't. I'm not obsessed with it. I just love. I know the magic of love. I know how love can overcome so many things and so many trials when you truly love somebody. So I love love, but obsession is not what I am today.
Yeah, and I'm just here, taking notes because ain't been in no relationship in a few years now, so I'm a little rusty. But sir, I am becoming an expert on self-love.
Mm.
So if anything pertains to that, whole realm of love, then I will definitely be chiming in if the Lord gives me any gems to be dropping, they will be dropped.
I mean, you'll still be able to have a little bit to say only because you know what you wanted that maybe you didn't get. You know what I'm saying? You know what you
Mm,
wanted in the relationship that I didn't get. So if he would have did this, you know what I'm saying, then I would have been able to be like, okay,
right.
you really want this. But there was things that he was not doing to be like, he don't want this for real. I mean, he say he is, but every action that he's continuously showing me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, I'm trying to pull up our which I cannot do right now.
Okay, well, while you do that, I'm going to do a quick praise report. Over this past weekend, I was in my first 2 New York Fashion Week fashion shows. So
Yay!
when I say I'm a creativepreneur, that is encompassing modeling. And so I have finally taken steps towards, obtaining one of my dreams. So I didn't think it was going to happen this quickly, but I've been telling Amber for the past year, like, I feel like God wants me to be with wings and flying with him. So I took an opportunity that I learned just this past Wednesday that I could still try out for these shows. And by the grace of God, I was in 2.
That's amazing. I mean, first off, who can say they walked in New York Fashion Week? You know what I'm saying? I don't know much about that. I mean, I see it on TV and I'm like, oh, that looks cool, and I know it's a bunch of different shows. It's not just one show. I know it's a bunch of different
Yeah.
things going on at that time. Everyone's just really showing off their fashion, their, and the people out, the things that I've seen you wear, and I'm just like, oh, okay, I like it, I like it.
Yeah.
I guess it's the time where the artists get to show their true artistry in their
Right.
clothing. Basically, they get to
Yeah.
push the limits on some of the things that they're doing. Basically,
Which I love. I'm just like, I like uniqueness. I like, out of the box kind of things that when it comes to fashion, like when I will see Met Gala and red carpets, I'm looking for that extra bit of edge, that pushing the envelope. To me, that's fashion, not just this has worked in the past, let's replicate it. But yeah, it's getting me closer to my dreams. So I'm thankful because every step of the way was definitely alignment.
just watching how things are like unfolding in your life more and more. It's like, could you have even imagined a few years ago that you would be here?
Nerp.
Yeah.
What is it? What's the scripture? Eyes haven't seen, ears haven't heard, neither has it come to the thoughts of man. Man,
Yes.
definitely God blew my mind. And he continues to. So just shout out to you, God, because without you, I would not have made it through this weekend.
Yes, that's awesome. I love it. I love it. I think my praise report would be for today.
I'm sorry, I just saw your shirt. I love it. Okay, keep going. I'm fangirling right now.
My I'm invested in her shirts.
Yes. Okay, that's my first note. Go get mine. Okay. Continue.
Yes, I love the pink, the fuchsia color is beautiful.
Yes.
I wanted to make sure I made one that stood out. But yes, the I'm invested in her, guys. We'll talk about that at the end. So don't click off the podcast because we're gonna talk about what the I'm invested in her is at the end of the show. But for my praise report, I would say I am really loving how God is stretching me in ways that I never even thought that I could be in. What I mean by that is about a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, I guess. I don't know if I talked about it, but God called me and told me to do a prayer service. And me, first off, doing a prayer service, you know what I'm saying? That's not something that I would actually choose to do for myself. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm more of the introvert. I'm more of the in the prayer closet. You know what I'm saying? I'll pray over the people in my house. But not going out in the public and laying hands and praying over and people I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So when God called me to do that, I'm just like, well, I'm not no pastor, God,
Not yet. Not yet for the people in the back.
So you're calling me to do something that I don't know. I don't do normal ministry, you know what I'm saying? But what I've learned so much, what I've learned with the people that I watch, I think the reason why I'm so drawn to them is because they show truly how it is to follow God, not in church, not religion. And I go to church every Sunday, by the way, so I'm not talking about church, but I'm just saying, usually we used to think that you only can praise heavy in church, right? It's you go to church every Sunday so you can get that tap, or you got to go to church Monday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, you know what I mean, to get all the Bible study and Wednesday service and all that. But now the people that I've been drawn to have been like me, where it's like I'm a little thug, sometimes, and I curse, sometimes. I'm not the typical person that you're gonna think of laying hands on, praying over, or however. But just like they say, God doesn't. What do you say? Hold on. God doesn't call the qualified; He qualifies the called.
Mm-hmm.
So when I think of that, I'm just like, I don't feel like I meet that qualification because I don't meet what culture, what we've been grown in, what we've been taught looks like I should look. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Most people would judge me. Well, you curse. You can't be healing people. You know what I'm saying? Like, you drink sometimes, so you ain't the one that could. But at the end of the day, what I'm doing is learning that God is stretching me in ways and pulling me out of a comfort zone that I've been in for so long. And while it's fearful, I'm nervous right now as I think about being at the beach praying over me. I'm like, oh Lord, what you want me to say?
Let them use you. That's what you got to do.
But however, I know that this is not, I know it's the Lord, because this is not something I would choose to do for myself. I would
Yeah.
never choose to go to a beach and pray for the public. That's not something I would choose to do. So I'm just really loving the fact that I'm seeing myself stretching in ways. I guess God is really showing me what my gifts are. As I pray, show me what my gifts are. Show me why I'm here. Why was I birthed? What's my full purpose? I know most of it, but I know that's not it. Or I also know God gives more things to you. You know what I mean? Gives you more gifts if you're stewarding the ones that you have well, right? So I see God stretching me in so many ways, and I'm just being obedient to it. And I'm just saying, you know what, Lord, have your way. I am a living vessel for whatever it is that you want from me. As nervous as I may be, as fearful as I may be, I know that you would call me to it if it was going to like break me. You know what I mean? You're calling me to
Right.
it because your people need it. You're calling me to it because you know I can handle it. You're calling me to it because I'm a spiritual warrior. I'm tough. That's the one thing that's about me that a lot of people unfortunately don't have. And it's okay, because you got prayer warriors like me, that are
In the
fighting for you
corner.
in
Yep.
spirit. Some of you, you just don't have it. But when I snatch that enemy out for you, you'll get there. So I'm just grateful that I'm at this space as I am now at 37 years old.
That is huge because it's just a testimony that God's not done with you yet. Like he's always gonna have something new for you to do and evolve and to figure out, why does it do this? Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, okay. I thought my computer was going crazy. But that he's just, he's a master at what he does, and he can always find a new way to show you like, hey, you still have more gifts to put out into this world. And I just really love that. He's just continuously, you're in this part of that TikTok when you grab his hand and he's like, "Yeah, let's go."
Yeah.
And I'm just like, and we're closing our hands slowly and we're walking. So I'm at the slow part right now, but I love to see um you just say yes, yes, God, and go.
Yes, definitely. I was watching Shane Yvette the other day, and she was saying how being a Christian is a hard job, and it is. It is not easy. It is difficult. It's difficult, especially just an example, like when God wakes me up at 4 o'clock in the morning to pray, to hear something from Him. It's like, Lord, you know how much I love my sleep. I, I love sleep. I love my naps. Listen, I'm not the 20 something where I can sleep. I can be good on 4 hours. Go to the club, get out at 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. and then be at work at 6 o'clock in the morning. I cannot do that anymore.
My
It's not
body
me.
has told me no.
Exactly.
Hard no.
Exactly. So the to have the discipline to be able to wake up when he's waking you up and be like, okay, let me pray, let me read the Bible or whatever you need me to do right now. Download it on me in this quiet time when it's dark. Everybody doesn't want to do that. More people just wake up and be like, oh, okay, I'm still tired though. I'm about to lay back down. you know?
Yes,
Yeah,
for
so,
sure.
just being, it's a tough job, but however, the way that it makes it easy for it makes it easier for me is because I also say, well, it's also tough being in poverty. It's also tough being in self-condemnation. It's
Mm.
also tough being in low self-esteem, low confidence, all of those negativity. It's also tough being in those spaces either. So if I'm going to choose something to be hard, well, I'm going to choose to walk out this kind life of God. You know what I'm
The
saying?
abundant life.
Yeah,
Yes,
the
I'm here
abundant
for it.
life, or at least I'm flourishing. You know what I'm saying? At
Right.
least I got joy and I got peace in my life. While it's difficult, it's still so much greater on this side versus being on the other side, because I've been on both sides, so I know how it is to be there. And
Right.
how did we get on this conversation? I think I'm
I
so.
don't know, but I've actually been thinking about that recently too, because, well, this will be the last thing and we'll go to the topic. But I've also been thinking about that lately, about how it's been a challenge. It's been difficult. It's been unnerving, if you will, because you're shedding all of these habits that you've accumulated over the years. So like for me, it'd be like 24 to 29 years of me doing what I wanted to do, not
Mhm.
following the will of God. And so it's just like, oh, I'm in the unknown, but I have to act like I know that I'm going to be taken care of. Like, I want to do a TikTok where it's like after you've been, tithing and praying and praising and worshiping and trusting God, and you're like freaking out, and then you cut to the next scene and it's God like, act like like he gonna take care of you, like he's gonna have your back no matter what. Like, just act like that's when. So I don't know if many of our listeners know, but I had a recent death in the family, and I learned about it on my way to New York for New York Fashion Week. And on Tuesday was the second show that I had, and I'm just in there just in awe because the designer, like most of the people I interacted with was like, you are more of a blessing to me than we are to you. And I was just like,
Oh wow.
when does this happen? Like, how does this
Right.
happen? And like, I'm almost breaking down like every chance that someone says something nice to me. I'm just like on the verge of tears. And it dawned on me that, I'm walking in my purpose. I'm aligned with what God has for me. And I should be acting like I know I'm good, not worried about what the world is telling me, not worried about, the circumstances that I've had to continue to carry because of what I've chosen in the past. Like, my future is not going to be um dictated by those examples. So it's
Mhm.
just what I just was thinking, that it's just funny. Again, we come back to the same kind of realizations of it's hard, but shoot, I'm about it's gonna be better than what I've been doing. So
Yes,
um
it's choose
yeah,
your hard, basically. Choose which hard you want to deal with.
for sure. For sure. And it's not even hard. Like, when you do it, you're just like, it's not hard. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's in me. It's innate. But just saying yes and going, and you know,
And
that's where.
I think my condolences again to you. I gave them before, but I'll give them
Thank
again.
you.
But I think it's more hard at the beginning.
Mm,
It's more hard to work on trusting something when you've been strategically, basically your mind was going a whole nother way. So now to having to be totally intentional about breaking down those negativities. No, that's not me. That's not who I am. I trust the Lord.
yes.
Even though the past
Yes.
men used to be here at one point in time, I trust that the Lord, to get to that space, it takes so much. And that's what it is. It's the beginning stages of unlearning the things that you thought were right when you realize they weren't right. Some of the things that we taught that maybe even our parents taught us, not talking about them, but they just didn't know any better,
Hmm.
or maybe how we were raised, just in the environment, just anything, whatever, like abandonment issues, whatever we was dealing with. It's hard to trust something that we don't see, which is why it's
Right.
called faith, right? And then
Hmm.
the what I find with people today is that they make God like us, like people.
Mm,
He gets angry, mad, like we get angry, mad. You know what I mean? Or we condemn ourselves quickly when we don't do the right thing. So when
yeah.
have this mindset of who we are, how people could be, or how people treated us, then we look at God like that, not realizing when you start reading the Bible, you start realizing that how kind God is, how gentle he is, how much he may get frustrated, but he gets over it very, very quickly. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't condemn us and hold us. We talking about, I'm praying for stuff that God, please forgive me over what happened 5 years ago or what happened yesterday. And he like, I don't forgive you already. As soon as after you did it, I was like, oh, this my daughter, she know better than this. But at the end of the day, I forgave you at that moment, but thank you for
Mhm.
repenting, right?
Yeah.
However, once we get to the space where we start learning that, and I was there too, where I felt like I had to learn who God was before I can really follow something. Not that I
Right.
didn't believe in God, but the way I got to walk out my life, I need to know. You know what I mean? So for me, He gave me like they're called God winks, I guess you call them. So basically, like confirmation that you're doing the right thing. So like me seeing 1, 2, 3, 4 on the clock almost every night was like a confirmation that you're going in the right direction. You're going the right direction. You're going the right direction. And at some point, I was like, how do I always seeing 1, 2, 3, 4? Like, what does this mean? It took weeks before I even decided to even look and see what 1, 2, 3, 4 even meant. And I'm just like, what does
Right.
this mean? And then finally, I realized that it meant basically that I'm going in the right direction. So he gave me those tangible things that I needed to see. And also you get to a point where you're like, what do I want to say? It becomes habit, I guess. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not like this is a season where I'm going to serve God. No, it's more like this is my lifestyle. This is who I am type of thing.
Right.
But it takes the work
Exactly.
to get there.
It does. It does. You don't just like wake up and be like, I am now going after Jesus. Like no, like no, it takes time. It takes prayer. It takes getting in the word. It takes, finding mentors, whether it's just YouTube sermons or, a study group. Um, but yeah, it takes what do you like, a progression. Like it's certain things might not even work for you anymore. Like if maybe your mind is like, oh, I'm such a bad person or something like that, and you would pray and that would work, but then it evolves and then you're like, now I need to praise my way through it, or it evolves again and it's like, now I need to fast through this. Like it's just these different types of levels again of just like trying to get closer to God, and trying to make sure that you are aligned in reflecting who He is into the world. But yeah, it definitely took me a while. Like I'd say about 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, before you were like, okay, this is my lifestyle. You know,
Yeah,
this is
for
who I
sure.
am.
Where
You're
I'm
being
like, I can't
intentional.
go without reading. Like my whole day is messed up. I'm just like, I hate all of you people. Unless I start off the day with the Bible, then I don't know what to tell you. You get the bad Valencia. You get the earthly Valencia if I'm not reading, or start with a sermon and or praise and worship music. But that's just like a testimony to how much of an impact he really is, like on the inside, not just even outside. Just like me just doing my day, I can't get through it without him.
Hmm. And that's the truth of the matter, boy. That's why, like I just said, I wake up. Krista come in here after getting off work at 5 in the morning and see me right on the floor, praying, meditating, reading the Bible, like just sitting there, trying to get my downloads and what needs to be done, because I refuse to keep walking out this life trying to figure it out. I can't. I'm tired of doing that. I'm tired
Right,
of trying to figure it out on my own. I'm tired
right.
of this hustle mentality that I need 50 jobs to be living prosperously. Like, no, I don't. I do not want to die from stress,
For
Lord. You
real.
know what I'm saying? So if your way is easier, have it your way. That's me.
Mhm.
Have it your way, like
Right.
Burger King. Because I'm done trying to fight what you naturally have given to me. I'm done fighting. I
Mhm.
surrender. That's basically what the point was
Yes.
for. I surrendered. I'm done.
Right. And any kind of burden that's coming my way, I give it back to you, Lord, because I can't handle it. Hide me in your shadow, because this whole weekend was just, I don't even know how to explain it. Like it's just like I'm numb through it all. Like I had a good time, but I just couldn't. I was just like, I'm here. I wasn't able to be as present as I would have liked. But you know, like I said earlier, like I only made it through that weekend with by God just carrying me. And like
Mm-hmm.
if this was supposed to happen and I was supposed to learn about it on my way to New York Fashion Week, then that's just what it was supposed to be.
Yes, ma'am. All
Yes.
right. Let's get
So
into this topic.
I feel like that's actually a very good segue to how to fight for love, is going through it even though it feels like you shouldn't be, or if you're ready to give up and like you don't see how it could get any better, yet you're still constantly working at it and trying
Mhm.
to be better and
Mhm.
trying at least putting in effort, you know.
Mm.
I feel like that is a big feat that a lot of people aren't really doing anymore, just based on what I see on social media and such. It's just like, well, that didn't work. Bye. Like it's your fault and I don't want to see you anymore. It's like, but what work did you put into it? Was there any work? Like I just saw a post today where um basically it was a talking stage uh situationship,
Mhm.
and the guy didn't want the girl to lose her shape because she was going on a 30-day fast. And so once it got closer to her birthday, that's why she was doing the fast. The guy was like, "Oh, well, I hope you didn't lose too much weight because I liked the way you looked before." And she's like, "Well, that's offensive. I don't like the way you like are bringing this up." And he just like took it and was like all offensive and or excuse me, all defensive in his response to her. And I'm just like, "But where is your effort in trying to understand what she's saying
Right.
and being accountable for being offensive and apologizing?" Like she's like, "At least apologize and let's keep it moving." And he's like, "Well, just say thank you to the compliment and keep it moving." It's like,
Ooh.
there was some toxicity in this. I was just like, I don't this is not giving what it needs to be giving. And
Yeah.
so that's what I meant about like no one in that specific scenario, that was not any type of effort or even like a good foundation for a relationship. For real, for real.
Ooh.
I'm just saying.
I'm just thinking about relationships these days. Oh God.
Yeah.
Help us. Help everyone, please.
Yes,
Thank
help
you.
us because we all need that tutorial, Lord.
Yeah, I feel like I said it on a live earlier today. I did a live earlier today. Well, a really quick one.
Oh,
I feel like when in relationships, you're either at one extreme to the other. So you're either at the extreme of, and how people are today, they're either at the extreme of where they just going in and trying so hard and breaking themselves and giving their all, and even though the other person is not really showing much, you still like loving harder and still trying and pouring it, and just all the
mm.
effort so much where it's just
Ooh-wee.
taking so much out of you, and you still think that, well, maybe he don't see it. Let me try a little bit harder. Let me love him a little bit more. Let me show him or her, because it goes on both ways. But
Right, it
let me
does.
show him that I'm different than everybody else, and I can be the woman for him. And in that aspect, you're really kind of putting the person on a pedestal, because
Mhm.
you're allowing them to do little to nothing while you're doing
Right.
everything, and you're breaking yourself to do it, and you're still trying to stay in this. Or you're on the other end of the spectrum where you're just like, I don't gotta deal with all this. Like, you don't want to give me what I need, then it is what it is, and I'm just gonna head out deuces. Like what is it called? Oh God, what is the term? I can't remember the term right now. But when you leave something quickly, my something game.
Ghosting.
Yeah, yeah, it's not ghosting though. It's
Oh,
my
not
Oh
ghosting.
God, what is the word? The word that's in my mind is not what I want to say, so I'm not even gonna say it. I don't even know what's coming up.
I
Lord,
wanna
get it out, get
know.
it out.
Uh-oh.
But
Doug Amber
whatever
coming
the
out.
whatever it is. But when they people who who boast about being able to walk away from something quickly. Basically, is what it is. I can't think of the word that I'm looking for. If somebody in the comments can write it, let me know, because I can't think of the word I'm looking for. But anyways, they'll quickly leave. Like when I'm not getting what I need, all right, I'm out. When I start seeing something and things that I don't really like, if there's a few red flags, so I'm not saying there ain't gonna be some red flags, but you know what I mean. Let's call them light red flag. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about full blown where you shouldn't be doing this. I just mean there's some things where you see, I don't really like this about him, because no one's going to be perfect, right? So you're either, most people today are either on one end of the spectrum or other. And so what we don't have so much of today is that middle ground. We don't have so many people today that are both willing to equally fight for the relationship. You know, it's usually always one or the other. You know, it's usually always one that's doing more work than the other one. It's usually always one person trying to get the, you know what I mean? But the equal aspect of things where we're equally trying to figure it out, we go into therapy and we're both in, because, you know, in relationships, everybody think they're always right. I'm right, you wrong. I'm right, you wrong. Basically, I'm perfect, you not. You know, that's really how it is. People think that what I'm saying is right, what you're saying is wrong. I can't hear you because I know I'm right, you know. So that's usually how it is, you know. And you can sit back like, I know he's wrong. And sometimes a lot of people won't back down. And a lot of people don't know how to get to a point where you say, would you rather be right or would you rather be happy? So many people want to be right. I want to prove my points. Versus just saying, you know what, I know she wrong, I know he wrong, but I'm not even about to fight about this. It ain't worth it. You know what I'm saying? I said what I said. As long as it's not something that's detrimental that needs a resolution. You know what I mean? But so many times we are on one end or the other. And so to say how to fight for love, the first thing that you have to do is be willing to fight. Be willing to put in the work. Be willing to put in the effort that you need for that relationship. And so many people have 175 different excuses on either why they can't or how they are. It's always, well, I am doing that. I am showing up. I am fighting. But are you doing enough for your partner to see that you want this? You know what I'm saying? Because maybe for yourself, you feel like I'm doing a lot, but your partner might be like, well, where? Because I don't see it. You know what I'm saying? Where is it at? You know, I'm not saying you're not doing nothing, but what I am saying is you're not doing enough to show me that you want to make this work. So when you get in that space, instead of people being so stubborn, because that's a lot of times people get stubborn. I'm doing too much already. And sometimes people are right. I'm not gonna lie, because especially as women, we do a lot for men, and a lot of times we accept less, accept him doing less in the relationship, which is where bitterness and anger comes in, is that I'm doing all this stuff for you. Why are you not doing it for me too? And I don't mean in the same way. I just mean, why are you not loving me equally in the way that I need to be loved? Why am I always the one that has to sit down and hash out these conversations, and you rather just not suffer, but you rather just hold it in and not say nothing, but be mad and be bitter and be angry and don't tell me nothing? Or maybe you have told me, but I don't know how to resolve it. So we both come together and figure out how to resolve it. Another way that I think is big on to show you how to fight for love is looking at the problem, looking at the situation as this is the situation versus this is the person. Let me explain that. Let me unpack that. This is, let me give an example. How about that? Finances. Let's do finances because it's a big one.
Yeah.
So the financial aspect of things is you make this much money, I make this much money. We can't come to the conclusion on how our finances roll. Are we doing separate bank accounts? Are we doing bank accounts together? Are you paying 50% of the bills and I'm paying 50%? Or are you paying the big bills and I'm paying the small bills? You know what I'm saying? I think men should do this and da-da-da. You know what I'm saying? So that aspect of things, instead of you looking at those situations as well, this how she thinking, so this is it. You know what I mean? She's the problem because she feels like I need to pay for everything and I don't feel like that. Well, that is how she thinks. However, in every relationship, there's a compromise, right? So instead
Mhm.
of you looking at it, this is how she thinks or this is how he thinks, you look at it as, okay, this is our problem. Our problem is we can't figure out how to divide our finances or what needs to be paid for or whatever if we live together to appease the both of us in a way, right? How can we both come together and figure out this problem? And that's where coaching comes in at, right? That's why you get coaching.
Yeah.
That's why you get a relationship coach like me. Hey, or that's why you get a therapist, to someone to come in and let you know, I hear her, I hear him. Let's try to come up with a solution so both of you guys can both equally be happy, because at the end of the day, that's what relationships are, is about compromising. And when you're fighting
Yeah.
for something, you got to compromise. You can't have it your way all the time. Like I just said with Burger King, have it your way. You can't have it your way. Let me tell you, can't have it your way all the time. And so many people always want it their way. And if it ain't the way I want it, ain't the way I feel like it should be, this is how my household should be run. This is how the finances need to be. This is how the kids need to be raised. This is what my mama did for me. Okay, but you was born in the 80s and we
Yeah.
in 2022. So how we raising these kids today is not how we raised them in the 80s, because they don't think how we thought in the 80s. Technology, all the things we have right now, we can't do the same thing in the 80s in 2022. I'm sorry, we can't. We have to shift and change. And as long as you have that same stubborn mindset that this is how it has to be and it's my way or no way, then you ain't fighting for nothing. You ain't fighting for
Yeah.
nothing. Thank you, girl. I got to go on and on about this now.
Well, you're hitting on some really good points. The first one is the difference between my and we.
Mm,
When you're in a relationship, my should not be it shouldn't really be a part of the discussion debate kind of thing. Like, basically what I'm saying is, if finances, let's say that, since you brought that up, finances, it can't just be my finances, it has to be our finances, because it will then broaden kind of the responsibility, and it'll also broaden just like the different type of solutions that can be brought up, and it more makes it as a team versus
mm,
you versus I, or you
mm.
versus me. And it just reminds me of Pastor Teray Roberts and Pastor Sarah Jakes Roberts. They have a love, oh, forgive me, I watched it today, don't remember what it's
That
called,
they
but
just did for Valentine's Day or whatever.
yes,
I just
yes.
watched that last night.
Yes, and they too talk about how 6 months into their marriage, they realize that, you know, we need each other. It's not an individual companionship. It's you and I are one. I need you, you need me. Let's do the damn thing. And I feel like that's when they really just they said themselves, that's when like a breakthrough happened. Um and certain situations call for individualism. Yes, they say, I need some time alone, I need some me time. That's perfectly okay, but then there should definitely be some discernment on when you guys come together as, you know a relationship, a partnership, and just my better half, if you will, and move forward, instead of being like, well, this is how I was raised and this is the best thing that worked for me, and da 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 da. It's like, well, it's not
Mm,
just you anymore.
mhm,
It's two of us here. we
mhm.
we have to become a us. And so I think that that can be very tough. Like when I was in my relationship, it was I was I can only talk for myself. I was definitely an I person. It wasn't a we. And I feel like it wasn't a we just because of how certain things played out. So I'm like, oh, well, it's just, me by myself. So um that's definitely something that I'm going to work on, trying to be more considerate of what the other person is saying versus the situation we're facing. And, I'm a visual learner, so I need it all just kind of painted out in a picture. I can put it together by what you're telling me, but if something's not linking it, I'm like, what is happening? And then that's when the whole debate happens. And it's like, but I'm just trying to understand, and there's something not clicking. I don't know what it is. But again, that's how you're allowing the other person to have the room, the space, the transparency, and the trust to speak their mind, and that you're willing to be receptive of it and, utilize your own perspective married with theirs.
Yes. Oh my God. First off, when you said the we and I, that just was like, because that is such a, that just I resonated with that, because it is one of the biggest things that people struggle with when they get into a relationship is the I syndrome. It's about me, it's my way. And it's like, okay, but no, it's we now. There ain't no I in team. You can't tell me that I am being a teammate. I am participating in us doing this together. Yet that's my money, this my car, this my house, even though y'all live together. Whatever, you know what I'm saying? This mine, this how I do this, that's my, you know what I mean? Okay, well then what the hell are we together for? I had to say it's coming out. Listen, whatever. So what why are we here? What are we doing? Don't nobody want to be in no relationship just to be a girlfriend for 10 years. Where is the growth? Now I get that at the beginning of the relationship when you're trying to get to know this person, duh. But after y'all live together, now that means you must really love this person, right? Don't just ain't nobody out here just moving in with anybody. You know what I'm saying? So when you finally decide to make that jump and now we live together, it ain't no more I no more. It's we now. It's our car. Yeah, it was your car before, but now you in this relationship, it's ours. Right? You know what I'm saying? It's ours.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying all of a sudden join bank accounts together and share all that money, all that, because a lot of that stuff comes with marriage, of course. You know what I mean? Marriage. But I'm saying there has to be things that you do start doing prior to marriage to start molding the union that you guys have together. And if you got to wait till marriage before you bring things together, it ain't gonna happen. And let me tell you why. Because marriage is not no key switch to be like, oh, all of a sudden I want to do all these we things that you didn't want to do the however many years prior y'all's together. Marriage isn't gonna change that. It's not no magic wand where everything your marriage is gonna all of a sudden shift. It takes you building up to doing those intentional things. It takes you sitting back saying, I don't really understand what he means there, because, can you help me understand that? Because I don't agree, but maybe there's a way that you're trying to explain it. I'm just not getting it in that way. And I know that's for me, because for me, the way my thought process is I process very slowly. That's how God made me. We can talk. I can have a conversation with you, but sometimes it'd be a couple hours from now where I would be like, oh, I see what they, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's just me. I've accepted that, right? That it takes me some time to, it takes me time to process things. I can have the conversation in the moment, but I might come back at you tomorrow about something that you said to me yesterday, because now I see it in a different way, or now I've processed it different. I'm not quick on my feet. That's not how my mind thinks. You know what I mean? I literally have to process, what is it? What did he really mean when he was saying this? What we, blah, blah, because it sounded real selfish. But when I said to him, you being selfish, and he didn't see his selfishness, what was that there? You know what I'm saying? Is he really not seeing that he's selfish, or he really don't care? Let me see. You know what I'm saying? It takes me having to think about that, and processing. So there has to be, you don't have no choice but to be a we. Like, you don't have a choice. Like, if you can't be a we, then don't be in a relationship, period. Leave it alone. If it's my world, and I used to say this to Chris when we first started dating. I would tell him all the time, I'd be like, it's just your world. I'm just in it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just in it. I'm just in it. I'm not, there's no collaboration. It's all this stuff you already had doing because you so used to being single, and now trying to make that switch to be in a relationship was hard for him. So it's like, I don't want to be with someone where it's just your world and I'm just entering into it, because no, once we came together, it's us now. how we do things, not how you parented with this person, how you did this, and da 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 da. It's how we choose to do it in our home, the traditions that we make in our home. It ain't about what you did with anybody else before now. It's about today,
Mm-mm.
right? It's about what
Right.
we have. And if we're not building something uniquely between the two of us, what are we doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how are we doing this, you know? And then before I get off this point, I mean, I'm gonna get off this, and then I just want to say I'm gonna let you talk, but I want to say something really quick before I lose it because I know my mind is when you talked about the vulnerability thing, basically with Pastor Torre and Pastor Sarah when they talked about they didn't want to tell the other person that I need you. That takes a level of vulnerability because you realize that dang, I really love him. Like wow, like he keeps me secure. You know, dang, I really love her. Like I feel safe with her. While if it was a struggle for me, and I like to be in my own way, and I like to do things I want to do them, and I'm rolling in my own. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I've gotten to the space where I really need you, and that takes a level of vulnerability and that's just something people don't have today. They don't have
Mm-hmm.
vulnerability. They don't have a lot of transparency. It's a lot of I'm gonna be who you need me to be so I can make this relationship work. That comes from the lack of confidence, or there's a lot of accept me how I am. You know what I mean? Stuff. It's not a lot of vulnerability. Is soft. It's not weak though, and a lot of people think it's weak. It's not weak. It's soft, which is sensual, it's care, it's compassion, it's empathy, it's what love is. Love is patient, love is kind. You know what I mean? That's what vulnerability is. And so to say
Mm-hmm.
that you love someone but you can't be vulnerable with them, I'm questioning, do you really love this person then? Because how can you say I love you, but I can't be vulnerable with you? I can't tell you I need you. I can't tell you that I really want this to work. I can't tell you that I don't want to be without you. And I don't mean from a desperate space. I mean, we've built
Right.
this life together. And I actually love being with you aspect from that space. You know what I'm saying? Being in that space, that level of vulnerability, just like Pastor Torre and Sarah said, until you can get this to a space of vulnerability with your partner where you're like my friend and I want to tell you everything and not be scared that you're going to leave me if you get to see the ugly parts of me, the depth of the relationship won't be very deep. It'll be
Yeah.
really surface and shallow.
And that brings another good point. Like fighting for love, I definitely feel like you have to be fighting for the right reason. You can't just be fighting for a sex buddy or, just because you don't want to be lonely anymore. Like you really need to know this is the person you want to live the rest of your life with. You can't go another day without them. If they so happen to pass away, you going to be gone with them. Like
Mm-hmm.
that you have to make sure you're fighting for the right person and for the right reasons. A lot of the times people can seem like they are the one, but you're ignoring certain red flags,
Mm-hmm.
yet you're still putting so much energy and effort into it. So it's like, why are you doing it? Like what is this that you're really fighting for? Is, like you're saying, it has to be a mutual effort, give and take kind of thing, but the other person may not be giving that much, or the other person um is more so entertaining the fact of I rather be single, yet you're the one holding them, dragging them along. Or the other person may be like, what's another one? Unavailable emotionally
Mm-hmm.
and mentally, just unavailable. And it's like, well, what is there to fight for? Now, let's say the person is willing to put in that effort, like we talked about before, and they are, showing that they have the capacity to live the rest of their life with you, and they don't see anybody else but you in the world, like Rihanna says, make me feel like I'm the only girl in the world. Like that is the love worth fighting for, that you both are in it for the long haul, you both are um, interested in who the person is, mind, body, and soul, not just body. Because
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know. The people that have been trying to, reach out to me, I feel like it's more so due to my body and not necessarily wanting to get to know me. And so I'm just like, okay, I'll just, you'll be at arm's length because why? There's no reason to bring you closer, or, you know. Um so that's another aspect of it. Like if you can tell like they're there for your money, or they're there for the type of lifestyle you can offer, rather than who you are as a person and who you can become, because we're all going to evolve. It's To me, I'm like, okay, it's not worth fighting for if that's the case, So I think the way to, if everything lines up and everything is, you know, ready for that happily ever after kind of scenario, then I think the best way to fight for it is to be present and to show up.
Yes, and oh man, perfect segue for what I was about to say. The president being able and be willing to show up is big, because so many people are make excuses for why they can't show up. Oh, I'm too busy. Oh, I don't got time. Oh, I got to work. Oh, I got to deal with this child. My child has sports. Oh, I got a parent that I have to take care of. Like, you got 175 excuses on why you can't show up, yet you still want to be in that relationship. Why? Why?
Make it
Why do you want to be in something that you don't have time for? Like
Yeah.
it being in relationships. I think what so many people, what a lot of people don't understand, the amount of work that it takes. And I'm not saying hard. If you really love the person, it's going to be a level of difficulty, of course, because it takes you having to compromise things that you normally will want to do, but now
It
your
takes
partner don't like it,
discipline.
so you can't do it
Yeah.
now. You know what I mean? So it takes intentional work, but think of the reward. So many people are thinking of like the things that I'm going to miss out on if I do this. So why are you in a relationship? Again, I always question, why are you in a relationship if you keep thinking of all the bad stuff? Well, what if they break my heart? Well, what if they hurt me? What if they abandon me? Well, what if they, what I mean? All the what ifs you can think of. What if they just decide to be done? What if? Because what love is a risk.
Mm-hmm.
It is a risk, because at the end of the day, I can be giving you everything, and you could be giving me everything, and I can still say, one day I don't even want to do this no more.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do about that. You can't make me stay, and I can't make you stay. But at the end of the day, I would rather love deeply and have someone love me deeply and deal with the risk that I'm taking of that man walking away from me, versus the what if this happens. Because if I'm living in what if, I'm living in fear, and I can't fully love anyone as I'm fearing what's going to happen, as I'm in fear of as I'm in fear of things that are possibilities, because that's what fear is. False
Yeah.
evidence appearing real. It's false. You don't even know what's going to happen. It's just a possibility, right? You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So you
Exactly.
living in this area that makes absolutely no sense. But when you're willing to, when you're ready. Did you say that? Did you say something about that? Right? You said emotionally unavailable.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this is kind of the same thing. When you are available, when you are really ready. I am really finally starting to learn after these last few years how important it is to be ready.
Mm.
Ready. And I don't mean just because so many people just go from relationship to relationship to relationship to relationship, next person, this person, that person, and they have this, people don't want to put in the work because they have this false what is the word I want to use? I don't know what the word I want to use, but this false thing that there's so many options out there for you, right? I got so many. There's so many. Now, there's a whole lot of fine men. And there's a whole lot of fine women. However, just because they're beautiful don't mean they're going to fit your lifestyle. Don't mean their mindset is going to work for where you're at. And you
Right.
cannot live with a beautiful, you cannot be with someone who has a beautiful outside and an empty inside. It's like a beautiful box that's empty. Who wants it? Nobody. Because I can't do nothing with it. I can't. This girl is beautiful, but I can't even have a real conversation with her because all she's talking about is how many, everything that's happening on Instagram, right? You know,
Mm-hmm.
the gossip of Instagram. But she fine though. But I can't have a real depth conversation. This man is gorgeous.
Yeah.
All he keep talking about is going to the gym and how much money he got in his job. It's like, do you have something outside of that, sir? Like, so
Yeah.
there's this false, this, what is the word? Can you think of what I'm trying to say?
I want
This,
to say like theory or like outlook.
yeah, like that people really
Um
think they can have, so that you think that you have so many options, and not even that. Some of the options you're looking at don't want you. I'm sorry, it's really the truth. Like, just because you see them, no, they don't want you for real. Because you think you so fine, but you're a little short, sir. You think you so fine, but
Ooh,
you ain't got the best character. You think you so
well,
fine, woman, but you really superficial, and all you want is money. Like, so who
yeah.
cares about how fine you are when you don't have no depth to you? You don't have no nothing there. You know what I mean? How are you driving me? How are we purpose partners, right? So fighting for love is, it takes a lot.
It takes a lot. And what I like what you were saying is, realizing your morals and values and being able to communicate them. And I definitely feel like communication is a huge, huge um, tool to fight for love. As we evolve, we want different things. There's this one, what movie was it? It was some movie where she's married to this doctor and he doing everything he's supposed to be doing, but she's like, I'm bored, and she cheats on him. And it's like, well, were you I didn't watch it, but it's like, were you communicating that you're bored and giving him the chance to, try to evolve, or trying to show him like, hey, or bring up suggestions of, let's try something else, or I saw this, let's try this, or just you know making it less, not redundant, repetitive, by opening up new doors instead of doing the same thing over and over again. You communicate just new interests. You can communicate, like, what did Pastor Teray and Sarah Jakes Roberts said?
With the
They
motorcycle thing.
communicate.
Oh,
Huh?
it's communication. Oh, I thought you were talking about the motorcycle thing.
Oh, well, that's one of them. But they were like, we communicate all our hot spots and stuff. Like, we know where each other wants to be ignited. And they're like, it changed. Like, it's not the same. So it's definitely like, fighting for love is one part communication, because without that, it'll fizzle, it'll go away, because us as people, we need that. We need that, interaction, that you're on my side, you're my partner, you understand me kind of thing. But it can't be done if you're withholding that information from your partner.
Yeah. Also, that you made me think about that was oh God, it flew out my brain. Come on, Amber. What was you saying? You were saying Pastor Torre said communication is I get it. I know what I was about to say though. It's what you're saying with the communication is friendship. It's being able to be friends when when you are really wanting this and you really want it to last forever. It's building a friendship. And when you think about, what do you do with your friends, what do we do, me and you as friends? Well, I got to know you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who are you as a person? I've had conversations with you. I got to know things that you like. What are your interests? How is your life shifting? What's going on with you? How, what I mean? We communicate. We've built a friendship, right? So
Yeah.
that's what relation. If that is where the lasting relationship goes. I mean, that is where the relationship lasting is supposed to be, where the connection is in the, it's in the friendship. When you think about your friends, you are not willing to lose your friends as easily as you are sometimes in a relationship. Like, oh, a man can come and go, but these my girls, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
you know,
Exactly.
so you want to get to the space where you have that same thought process about your man, about your woman. Same thing.
For
The
sure.
man be like, listen, my guys, they solid, but my girl, she's solid too. She ain't going nowhere. I ain't letting her. I'm about to love her down so good that I'm gonna make sure ain't no man about to come in and take my space. Not no. But so many people have this pride and this ego, and I don't want to. Oh my god, I actually heard somebody say this before. I can't even remember where I seen it, but it really irked me. Where he was saying how he didn't want to have to pump his girl's head up too much more. It's like, what, brother? Her
Where
head
they
need
do
to
that
be
at?
her head need to be so big when she think about how my man think I'm the finest. He ain't going nowhere because he be talking to me all smooth and he be, telling me how beautiful I am. He be rubbing on my booty. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes, because that's reminding me of Aisha Curry when that whole debacle happened and she's like, no, no, guys, look at me. Like that's one thing right there of why it's so important for your man to be amping you up. Because
Mm-hmm.
if I'm with you and you not doing nothing, why am I with you? Not
Mm-hmm.
saying that Steph Curry. I'm not trying to say you wasn't amping her up because I'm sure you was. I'm sure you was. Got 3 kids. Okay, we know what it is. Anywho, but like that happened to me, right? I was in my previous relationship, I was getting ready to go out dressed up, makeup done. The dude come in like, what? I can't remember what he said, but it wasn't like, damn, babe. It wasn't like, oh, we about to get it tonight. Like nothing like that. And
Mm.
I was just like, sir, I don't really dress up that much, right? And I look damn good. I don't look just good. I look damn good. And
Okay.
I can't get I get this left field. Not even on the field. You like out in the parking lot. You like, you just out there, that kind of comment. And it don't make you feel good. It's like, why am I here then? If you don't see,
Yes.
not saying that I only need affirmation for the outside, but that's a big, like after having a baby, that's a big that's a big thing that women need. We definitely need that affirmation of, damn girl, you still got it. I'm glad you're my girl kind of thing. Like you.
Come on.
And what I loved about the Pastor Sarah Jakes Roberts and Pastor Teray Roberts is she's steady spitting game after how long they've been married. Like they've been
Yes.
married forever, and she still just got them.
Like,
I'm
listen,
like,
baby, you can get it, right? Like, still very flirtatious, very
yes,
fun,
I'm
they
so
enjoy
ready.
each other. Like, that is what you need. Listen, guys, if y'all
I'm
don't hear
ready for
nothing
that.
else, if y'all don't hear nothing else in this whole podcast, hear that the,
She's
the one thing to make the relationship last and fighting for it is flirting and enjoying each other and having fun and building a friendship.
When she said I was born for you or something like
That's what
that,
she said.
I said, child, it's all over now. We don't even gotta go the rest of the 40 minutes. It's done. She
He
dropped
was
the
spitting
mic.
mad
Like
game. Boom. He was like, ooh.
I was
Wait
like,
till after we get out of here.
let me write that down for whenever my man come. I was born for you.
Oh my
But
God.
yes, I'm loving that. Like they joke, she'd be like, okay, you got really back now, but it's just this authentic connection of them being themselves together, if that makes sense. Like it was, it's not forced. Nothing their interaction was forced. It's just, we are who we are, and this is us together, and this is, the silliness that will arrive or the greatness that will come from us just being in our lane together. And so that's definitely another thing of fighting for love is finding your purpose together. Like why is it that you two were brought together? Because that should be greater than the two of you. And it should also move you forward, you know, um Lord willing that the man is leading, but that could be another topic. I don't know if that's fighting for love, if the man must lead. That's what I think. Anywho, but yes, finding your purpose and fighting for that, keeping it sacred, keeping it the forefront of the focus. And all of these things that I'm thinking about, just because you're doing them, right, does not necessarily mean that no trials or tribulations will come.
Right.
If that makes sense. Like the advice that we're giving isn't going to just be like, we're sailing like smooth seas from now on. No, like my one example is Beyonce and Jay-Z. She's like, I've always been committed. I've been focused. Tell me, what did I do wrong? There is 1, showing the willingness, 2, showing the effort, 3, showing communication, and 4, the willingness to forgive and work through it. And they know who they are and what their purpose is, as being like the first black billionaires or something like that. Can't really remember, but like the work that they had to put into that was serious. So I would actually like to, if they would write a book about that, but whatever. It was whatever songs they did, but I'm just bringing it up to say that at the end of the day, you got to remember we're all human. No, it doesn't give them, the excuse to be cheating or to beat on you or to look down on you or anything along that nature. But if they are worth the destiny for your life, and they're supposed to be in it, and you just know that which I hear when people get married, oh, you just know when you know. Sorry, people who are married, because I have not known when I know. So then I say, continue to fight for it. Put your armor on and go fight together. Don't fight each other.
Yes, I agree with that. And I love that you use them for an example. Basically, because obviously it may not be, as regular people, it's not going to be on as big of a scale or not celebrity wise. But however, they were able to show us that what is your purpose together needs to be just as important as your purpose is separately. Because God didn't bring you two together to do nothing with the two of you. You know what I mean? God didn't bring the two of you together for you to have your business over here and him to have his business over here, and the only thing y'all doing together is like roommate types. You know what I mean? We pay bills together, we hang out and have fun together, but we really not serving no real purpose together. And so that is so important. I like that. I love that you said that, because it is important that you have purpose, because what are we doing if we're not doing nothing collectively, right?
Yeah.
What are we building if we're not building this thing together? And I'm not saying you have your business over here, I have my business, and together we have this business. Or maybe I don't have a business, or one or the other don't have a business, and I can help you with your business. You brought the idea to me, and as the woman, I can cultivate that and make it bigger. You know what I mean? Because that's what we do. So, but we're still doing this together. We're still together doing this. We're still figuring this out together, So it is all about why, when you think about the relationship and you think about the person you're with, to ask yourself, why are we together? And I want this, I want people, when you ask yourself this question, whether you have a partner or when you get with the next partner, you ask yourself, why am I with them? Do they have the qualities that I see of what I want my legacy and my, to look like?
And then also be able to ask yourself, you know, oh God, it flew out of my mind. There we go again. I had it right there. Like, ask yourself, why are we together? What's your purpose together? And then, like, are you willing to do what it takes to be in that? Are you willing to do the work to be there? Because if you're not, then you're not. And a lot of stuff we're saying is kind of redundant. It's over and over again. So,
Mm.
but yeah,
And also just be truthful, you know, like don't just put on like a facade and be like, well, I'm gonna fake it till I make it. Because with relationships, you really won't. Like, and if you do, you're not gonna be happy. You're gonna be stepping out. You're gonna be like, oh, why did I do this? And like, well, might as well just get divorced. It's like, well, if you knew from the beginning this is not what you wanted.
right. Right. You can always tell. That's why people in their relationships, when they get married, they say when you know, you know. That's what happens. That's why a lot of times relationships get drug out, lasting years and years and years and years and years. Because it took, you really don't know, but at some point you might get married, but maybe you just settle because you didn't feel like going to find more the best.
Mm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? We've been together
Yeah.
for 7 years, and you might as well get married. You know, I know what it comes with, and I may be able to find better, but that's gonna take some work. So I'll just deal with what I got, type of thing. Versus like we just talked about, versus you really, when you do it, oh my God, thank you, Holy Spirit. When you do it in that way, you are loving selfishly. And why I said that is because you are only in with this person for you. And what I mean by that is you're not building nothing with like your children, your grandchildren, the grandchildren that you are never, the great grandchildren, you know what I mean? Because now you're settling, and then when you're settling, you're usually not walking in purpose. And when you're not walking in purpose, you're not making life easier for the little people that's coming after you. You're just having more struggle.
Yeah.
And what I know about God, and what I know about people, and what I know about myself, but you know what I mean, is that I refuse to make my children and my grandchildren. I do have grandchildren now, guys. And then my great grandchildren, I don't have them, thank God, Um but that I not to have to suffer in the way that I've suffered. I'm going through all the suffer. I'm making sure I'm in the right relationship, making sure this relationship is purposeful. So as we are building a legacy and building generational wealth, my children will not have to do that much work. Not saying they don't have to work hard, but I'm making life a little bit easier for them.
Yeah.
For them to be able to choose what they want to do and not have to do things because they have to do it out of obligation, so they can focus more on what their purpose is in life versus having to work a job that they don't like. No, if you want to be an entrepreneur, do that, and mom can help fund that for you, right? And help
Yeah.
pour into you and teach you instead of you having to do what I did. So it really, people don't think about relationships in that way, but that takes a lot of depth. It takes a lot of maturity, and that takes you really wanting more than just companionship and sex and a good time,
Mm-hmm.
legacy and stuff. That's a lot, and that's a lot of
Yeah.
things that people aren't really looking at.
Yes, I love that the difference between choice and obligation, you choosing to fight for it rather than, oh, I'm dragging my feet through the mud because I'm obligated. Um, that could definitely break a relationship. The obligation of, I don't really want to do this, but I'm just, half-assing it. Whereas if you're choosing to do it, you still might not want to do it.
I'm gonna be right back.
However, yeah, however, it's out of a heart of a servant. It's out of the heart of, how can I um, best serve your needs? It's always going to be, again, going back to the I versus we, like it takes two to tango, and same things with relationships. And fighting for love it's definitely going to be all hands on deck kind of thing. It can't just be um you're trying to retreat while the other person's like, I'm coming after you. I mean, yeah, there could be sometimes where that occurs, but as long as the two of you are really working towards staying within the same orbit of each other, then, by all means, do what works for you. But, like, they're the movie Swan Song. swan song, basically, you know, one of the participants in the relationship kind of blocks the other one out, and then when the other party needs them the most, they kind of do the same thing back. So you want to definitely be careful of how many times you run away, or how many times you isolate your partner. You know, that I think that's just like the biggest reason for communication. Communication will definitely clear things up of the needing of, I need some time alone. I need some space alone. I need to process this by myself. Or I'll once I, have some time to recollect myself and get my thoughts together, then let's, reconvene, and I'll loop you back into what I'm feeling. Um but yes, fighting for love is definitely more than just certain actions of buying chocolates or flowers. It's being present. It's showing the other person that they matter to you, and not matter in the sense of, obligation, or what is it, convenience. It's They matter to you. Basically, every fiber of their being matters to you. If you like, one thing that is a good example of this is this weekend I was off and on crying, like I said earlier, and a stranger, I it was just like, it wasn't like crying, but I definitely had tears welling up, and a stranger came up to me and was like, "Are you okay?" And then later on, people in the group that I was with, one person came up and asked me if I was okay. And just that um knowing that something is off, and wanting to know, can are you all right? Can I help you? Um can I come into your world and try to brighten it up, or give you that kind of comfort of, hey, you have someone on your side? That to me is major in a relationship, because, you know, being out in the world, you can be overlooked. And if your partner is overlooking you, w- that's not a good relationship. Your partner should know that one simple thing is off, like whether the bags under your eyes are like bigger than before, or if you look tired, or if you're smiling through pain, or just certain things of that matter. That partner, hopefully your partner will know and can pray over you, or can pray with you, and do certain things that will you know get you guys to ride off into the sunset. Just certain things of that nature. But this actually came up because this topic came up because a friend of mine actually asked, how do you fight for love? And I should have asked what the scenario was, right? I just didn't. I was like, okay, like I'll get back to you. And then, death in the family, New York Fashion Week, everything just kind of was boom, boom, boom. I wasn't able to get back to them. But now thinking about it, like, how would I fight for love as a single person, like trying to get into a relationship? How would I fight for love in that scenario? I think I definitely think giving the other person space to be who they are and not judging them is a great way to fight for it, in the sense of, am I compatible with this person? Is this person, going to not enhance, compliment who I am, or are we just better off as friends? Allowing that kind of space for the relationship to just flourish as a friendship first. I think that's major, because it's easy to just jump in the bed, but then like, who are you at the end of the day? Who are you? What drives you? What scares you? What are things that you can't live without, you know? Like, these are certain things that I feel like will help fight for love, or get towards love. What else? I haven't really been thinking about it that much. It's kind of new because I was just like, well, when a certain someone comes along, it'll just, kind of flow. But then I'm like, Valencia or Vie Camille, like, it's not just gonna flow. You have to know if this is going where you want it to go. Like, are you going down a waterfall or are you on a nice stream? Certain things like that. And so I feel like maybe we could do another one of like how to fight towards love.
Yeah, we can do that. We can do that one sometime as well. How to fight towards love. And you said fight for love as a single person. So what did you mean by that?
So
Married or
what? Say that last part.
so did you mean like not married, or what do you mean by that?
So I mean, like, fighting towards love, basically. Like,
Mhm.
how are you, like you said before, are you withholding yourself from being hurt? Are you doing certain things that will kind of trip up the relationship because you don't want to get hurt again, or like self-sabotaging? Or are you allowing, yourself to really just feel out the person rather than, hey, let's just go, like, our certain things I think will work for everyone. Just for me, I think I'm kind of just like, testing out the waters. I'm not really ready to jump the broom just yet. But
Okay.
it's definitely something that I think is something we should talk about as we're trying to fight towards love as a union, like starting from singleness, going to a union.
Yeah, so when you say that, what came to me was how am I preparing for my person? How am I
Right.
preparing? How am I setting my mindset up to be ready when they come, so that when they do get here, I'm not like you said, I'm not self-sabotaging. I'm not making them pay for all my exes. I'm not, I a lot of times I'm gonna say this and then we're gonna have to switch to the next manifestation. But a lot of times, because now we're talking about a whole nother subject that we do need to talk about, the preparation of love. But now how am I how yes, preparing and letting go and healing from the past, and how am I just getting ready for the next,
And
because
accepting it.
yeah, accepting the things that happened. I wasted 9 years of my life with someone. I allowed that to happen, but now my next person, I'm not going to make them pay. I'm not. Oh, this is what I was going to say. I find it crazy when a lot of people, when men and women say women do this, men do that. It's like, no, it's not true. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times it's like, no, the women that you entered in and was around and was in the environment you put in did that. The men that you dated, the men that you were friends with, the men that you were around did that. But that doesn't mean that's what all men do. That's what all women do. But usually that's a clear indication of people who are still kind of jaded a little bit. Oh, I know women that would talk about they're so great and they're so amazing, and then okay, that so it's really getting to the point where you're prepared. Where you're preparing your heart posture to be able to receive, because just like the meme thing that I wrote yesterday or 2 days ago or whatever, that you cannot truly love someone until you learn to love yourself first. And learning to love yourself meaning you're preparing, and that takes self-love. That means I'm learning and learning to get to what you want. If you don't know what you want in a relationship, it don't matter who comes. Right. You can be with you can be having a whole amazing person right there, but if they're not the amazing that you need for you, who cares? You're just wasting time, and you don't want to leave this person because they're a good person.
Mm-hmm.
Let him go. Let him go. All right.
Right.
So I'm glad you guys. Thank you for this specific topic. Now we're going to switch over into the manifestation and what we are trying to manifest in our lives. And I was talking to Vika Me at the beginning before we even got on live, where I was sharing with her. I'm doing this 3-day holds, I guess is what they would call it. You know, a 3-day hold. I'm not really like fasting or anything like that, but it's more like where I'm worshiping. I'm being intentional about prayer more times throughout the day, where I'm trying to hear from God and I'm trying to release things. Each day is something different. Today was our day of releasing and releasing old things and inviting in more of God, you know, releasing bad familiar spirits that don't work for me, letting go of those old mindsets and doing more of dying to myself and living more spiritually. You know, obviously I got to be in this real world, but being able to live it out the way God wanted me to live it out. And so my manifestation is at the end of these 3 days is that I finally have full clarity on what to do. I'm gonna be general because I'm even a little nervous to even say what with my life, I guess I would say. But what I mean by that is business and my relationship and what home I should move to next and what car I should get. And you know, I got a lot that I'm in need of at this moment, you know. And so I'm like, I don't want to limit God. I want you to just bring it all, you know. But
Right.
you know, Lord, you know what I need, so I'm not gonna tell you to send me a Honda, and you like, girl, I got a Benz for you, but since you asked for a Honda, I'm gonna give it to you. You know, so
Uh-oh.
stuff like that. So, I'm at the end of these 3 days, I am in manifesting clarity.
Yeah, I love that. That's definitely being specific in what you're asking for and also surrendering again. I will be manifesting that I continue to grow my wings and continue to learn to use them, and not just for a selfish, or excuse me, not selfish, not just for my own journey, for those around me that I'm supposed to be touching, that I use them for them as well. And then also, I just want a little romance in my life.
Come on now.
So I'm manifesting that. I'm like, it's been a while. I'm not trying to tell you what to do, Lord, but I'm just saying I hope it's in this year.
Can you send them to me, please?
I hope it's in this plan for this year. And someone that's real. Someone that's real, someone that's just for me.
Born for you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, you need. I'm gonna send you the podcast that I just watched the other day. It was one of the Dear Future Wifey podcast, but it was like a Valentine's edition where they talked about love.
Oh.
I just watched it. It was beautiful, and it's from a man's perspective and a woman's perspective, and it's just crazy how we all just deal with a lot of the same stuff. So I'm gonna have to send that to you. But yes, so this topic was dope. Like you already know me. Like if I'm talking about love and confidence, that's my lane. You know,
Yes.
I know my lane and I stay in it. You know what I'm saying? So like I just love being able to teach, you know, people and mentor and help people learn how to love better, because man, when we say that love is the healer of all things, it really is. The thing about it is people have to use it properly, you know, not withholding love, because you ain't doing the right thing. No, giving freely your heart to the person who deserves it, and not taking 7 years to realize if they deserve it or not. Because if it takes you that long, then they probably didn't deserve it in the first place, or you probably were too broken to be even giving it to them. So you probably shouldn't even been in that relationship, right? Stop making people wait for you because you ain't ready. Like, quit it. You know what I mean? It's selfish.
Yeah.
It's just selfish. But you know, so this conversation was amazing. We are going to have to come back and talk about how to prepare for love, basically, kind of what Bill said, how to prepare for love and We talked about once you in it. I guess it's kind of backwards because we talked about how to fight for love once you in it. And now we're going back and say, well, here's how to actually prepare. And then when you prepare for it, you might not have to fight as hard.
I mean, that's just like my journey right now. So I feel like, we've been talking about a lot of the things that, we've been going through. And just for some reason, a lot of these topics just seem to align with everything that has been happening over the past year or more, So I'm definitely like, I need to start actually working a little bit harder towards that, even though there's no suitor yet.
But he's coming.
He's coming.
I'm calling him to you right now.
He better. Flesh of my flesh, bone of my bone. I'm waiting.
Lord. All right. It's prayer time.
Okay.
So
I will pray. It's gonna be very short. Yes. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord of Lords, the host of hosts, my protector, my redeemer, my restorer. You are everything and more. You are greater than anyone on this earth, Lord. Please, 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 please let this podcast hit all the people that need to hear it, that the wisdom that you've bestowed upon us will be given to them, and that your glory will be shown upon the world due to this podcast and the conversations that will be sparked based on what we discussed today. Thank you for this opportunity to be able to speak to your people. Thank you for the opportunity for our relationship to flourish with you, with Amber, with the Holy Spirit, and Jesus. Please continue to watch over us, keep your hands over us, and we just ask for your protection as we walk out in what you have us to do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right, that was good. Thank you guys for listening, and be ready and prepared to join us next week. Actually, next week I might not be able to do it. I'll talk to you later about that.
Okay,
okay. All right, guys, and we out. Bye.
Bye.